You see that building behind me? Inside is the original British Library reading room. The likes of people like Karl Marx and even Gandhi studied there. Today, we have AI. But are the questions that we ask AI through prompt engineering better than what they used to ask back in their days? I'm here to consider it. Prompting isn't just about typing. What it's about is thinking. And 9 times out of 10, the reason the prompt is wrong, it's got nothing to do with the model. It's got to do with the prompter who's not using critical thinking. Critical thinking, rather like these books here, expose the prompter, or in this case the books, the author's thoughts. And through those thoughts, you have a whole imagination of possibilities that open. The clearer the thought, the better the prompt. There are 5 critical thinking tools that were not just invented by the likes of Silicon Valley. In fact, they've been around for centuries. And these critical thinking tools are just part of your arsenal, if you wish, that you can use when prompt engineering. The first one is called reflected practice. And that is really asking yourself, it's really framing, why am I asking the question in this way? Where could I reframe it? Could I ask it in a different way that may get a different type of result? The next aspect of critical thinking that you could consider goes back to ancient Greece. In fact, it goes back to Socrates. And it's called Socratic questioning. And it's very, very simple, which is why it's so elegant. And what you do is that you ask yourself why, how, where, when, and you keep on asking yourself these types of questions. And so when you're prompting, when you are asking the model, whatever the prompt may be, you're going to be cross-examining it, if you wish, and asking yourself, and so therefore the model, why are you saying this? How could that be improved? And so on and so forth. The third approach is what I call the dinner party approach, although purists would call it just lateral thinking. So in this dinner party approach, imagine you had with you at your dinner party the greatest minds you could ever think of. It could be Einstein, or if you're so inclined, it could even be Madonna if you wanted. But the point of it is, how would they look at the prompt? What would they say? What would they advise you to do to look at it in a different way? And one of the best ways of looking at that is actually looking at it from the eyes of a child. So you can actually ask AI, look at this prompt, how would a child look at it? And sometimes that pure innocence that cuts to the point is going to be the perfect answer that you're looking for in order to improve your prompt. Or alternatively, as I said, maybe consult the greatest minds in the world and ask them, what do you think of this prompt? What is wrong with it? Quiz it, cross-examine it, interrogate it. The fourth type of approach is you becoming an academic. And you are going to be asking your researcher to give you absolute fundamental evidence about what the prompt is saying. So that means including sources and so on and so forth. Because without the evidence, it's just subjective. And what we're trying to be is objective. That brings me to the fifth approach when it comes to prompting. Now, as people, we are inherently biased, whether it's going to be towards the left or towards the right or even down the center. So the fifth approach is to look at those biases. Is there something here that is leaning one way or the other? Again, this goes back to being objective and coming up, well, hopefully coming up with a truth. The thing about being objective, it's actually one of the hardest things to do from a human bias point of view. If you take the word reporting, as in a reporter, it comes from the word reportage, and reportage is about reporting something without any bias whatsoever. Now, I don't know about you, but if you look at the media today, and it was the same yesterday, but it seems to be more so today, there is always going to be bias, because the people who are verifying things are going to be biased themselves. Why? Because they're human. So does that mean that we can't actually, get the fifth approach working for us in a positive way? Well, I think it's about allowing for it, acknowledging it, and moving forward through the 4 other approaches that you can take to substantiate, to think more clearly than you would have otherwise have done when actually creating your prompt. Once, the wealth of a man, one of the ways that you would measure it was by the collection that he possessed in terms of books. The more books, the more worldly wise the man was, or thought to be. And they made vast displays, if you wish, libraries of these books. Now, today, we all have 1,000 plus more of the books that I can see here in the British Library, and it's all on our smartphone or on the laptop. And it's all available to us through ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, or whatever your favorite model may be. But having all these books means nothing except for show, unless you know how to question what's inside the book, how to think about what's inside the book, and then draw your own conclusions, and who knows, maybe write your own book on it. But asking the questions, getting it right, is the key that unlocks everything. Out there, I see countless social posts with people saying this is the prompt that will unlock everything. It's the God prompt, it's the prophet prompt, it's all sorts of prompts. It's going to make you $1 million overnight, and so on and so forth. Actually, you already hold the key to the greatest prompt ever, and it's in here. It's in your mind. It is your brain. And the way that you access that prompt is by using critical thinking. Because critical thinking is what will make the difference between an average prompt and an amazing solution, or if you wish, answer.